Yo, what's going on? Yo, what's going on? Hold on a sec here, just giving everyone this link. Alright, so here we are. This is the first time I'm doing this. I'm testing this here. Uh, haven't streamed to DuelistGroundz Facebook before, but we've got some pretty salty duelists here. We've got DGZ veteran Soul and sort of a newcomer, Morphing Jar, aka Guerrilla Warfare. They've both been talking mad shit because Soul just beat Morphing Jar's boy Goins. So, oh, hey Silver, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
All right. So you're watching this game here? I don't see you in watchers.
Hold on. I'm just gonna log on DB right now.
Yeah, okay.
So, I guess we should provide some context behind this game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know the whole story exactly, but basically the important thing is that these two people like to talk infinite shit and they're both mad at each other. That's really all that needs to be said. Like these two people are like two of the biggest shit talkers on the entire site. So, like regardless of who wins, everyone wins.
You know what? I've been enjoying all this banter, or not, I don't even think it's banter at this point. I think it's just straight up straight up hate for each other now.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was bound to happen at some point, and now that it's
Yeah.
happening, it's it's a it's a
Yeah.
giant.
Well, Morphing Jar just used Morphing Jar.
Oh my god, the meme, the memes are real. Let's go.
Yeah, but I mean, Soul seems to be pretty ahead. I mean, the Morphing Jar was essentially a -1, and now Soul is duoing after the Morphing Jar. And obviously, if he doesn't have Sinister, then this is this is a plus here. And he's thinking about what to discard, which obviously tells us he doesn't have Sinister, because if he did have it, he would just snap put it in his grave. So yeah, at this point, Morphing Jar will be drawing to 6 cards, while Soul has 8. So I mean, Soul's in a pretty good position. Like obviously, Morphing Jar can still easily win. Like 8 cards to 6 isn't like as big of a lead, for example, as 4 cards to 2, because like
Mm-hmm.
you still have 6 cards to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I'm also interested in the skilled white magician tech in this, or skilled dark magician tech.
Yeah, I mean, some people like it, like both. Actually, some people like Skilled Dark and Skilled White, like just because they have good stats. Um, I mean, I think I don't really know how to say it, but like they're not bad. But chances are, whatever deck you're playing them in, like you could come up with something better to play instead. Like I find it pretty hard to justify, like, yeah, I needed whatever it is, like a monster, and like I think Skilled Dark Magician is the best choice. Like I think that's just laziness, or it often is, anyways.
Yeah, it's been kind of interesting with like since we're not playing Exario in this format, how
Yeah,
people are trying to cope with
yeah,
playing
yeah,
Exarion.
yeah. I mean
I
that
mean,
that is good to point out. That yeah, some people watching might not know that this is Xarianless Goats. Um, wow, it actually seems like Soul knew they had Morphing Jar set because he set Tsukiyomi and set Snatch Steal before he attacked. So I mean, that was like a pretty good read on Soul's part. Because obviously, like I don't think he would ever do that if he didn't think his opponent had Morphing Jar. Like that's clearly just to lose less cards.
I mean, a lot of people do. I mean, I don't know if it's just you or like other some other people
Yeah.
sometimes could read the morphing jar. Like for me, I've been playing Go for maybe like 2 years now, and like I think the first time I got morphing jar, I didn't read it at all. Like I
Yeah.
didn't even think about it as a card. But now that I've been playing more and more against like you guys, it's a card that you know when it's coming, but it's kind of weird because sometimes it's not obvious when you're playing somebody really good like Perovic or
Yeah,
Sol.
yeah. He can be pretty good at hiding his morphing jar. Some people make it obvious. Like when people turn one, set a monster, and set two spells or traps and pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's pretty good chances morphing jar.
Yeah.
Because like assuming like they don't like dust shoot you in your draw phase or so, you know what I mean? Like if they set two spells or traps and don't like just immediately act, it's probably morphing jar because otherwise they don't have like too much of an incentive to set two spells or traps turn one. Which like on the contrary means that if you are gonna set morphing jar, it might be better to just set one spell or trap to make your opponent think it's not morphing jar. Like I had an opponent who set like morphing jar, like ring and call, and like I like summoned breaker and he ringed, so I'm like, oh, it's probably morphing jar, and I set like three spells or traps, including pot of greed, because obviously I wanted to pot after the morphing jar went through. But if he just doesn't set the other spell or trap beside his ring, I'm a lot less likely to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to
So yeah, I mean, morphing jar is like one of those cards you could like talk for almost talk forever about like the right way to play it.
yeah, like I know for sure. I analyzed some of the Perovic games that I've been watching. Because I've been watching a lot of old Go games, not
Yeah,
'06 games, but like 2012 games.
yeah,
And I think Perovic I think he likes to play merchant because it's a good turn one play,
yeah,
but it's also like a way. It's also like a way to like bluff a morphine because you can just set it and pass and like. All right, hold on a sec. Give me a sec. I have to go do something right now real quick. I'll be back.
yeah. Okay. But yeah, this is still looking like a pretty close game here. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I think it's still up. Maybe. Hold on. Maybe. Yeah. So stream is still up. Just making sure. But yeah. So right now Sol has I guess he has 9 cards. His opponent's 7. And the life points are equal. So I mean this is like a pretty even game. Um, like Sol is ahead by a little. And now they're just like talking shit about how how Soul had like pot duo or whatever. I guess I like them to actually play instead of just sit there and talk shit in the chat. Yeah, I'd like them to play too. So yeah, he attacked into Spy, it looks like, and Morphing Jar got a guard. So that's pretty good for Morphing Jar here. I mean, I guess I'll say Guerrilla Warfare, that because it's confusing if I keep talking about Morphing Jar, people think I'm talking about the card. But yeah, that's pretty good for Soul's opponent. That's gonna hold off the attacks for a while, which is good because since Morphing Jar is behind, he kind of would rather just play draw pass for a while, until he like draws into some Trinity of his own, for example. So yeah, I mean these guys are probably going to be playing draw go for a while. Um, I will point out uh, the Gravekeeper Spy guard package in Goats. I mean that was originally pioneered by Max Suffrage for the 2005 Nationals. Um, but we first started doing the revival of Goats in 2012. A lot of people were playing Gravekeeper Spy. They were playing very similar lists to Max's deck, and then like it kind of fell out of favor for a while. We were playing Exarian Goats for a while, so a lot of people just replaced their Gravekeeper Spies with Exarians. But now, that we've gone back to Exarianless Goats, now that we're telling players they're not allowed to play with Exarian Universe, I've been seeing a bit of resurgence in Spy and Guard, which is kind of interesting. I mean, they're quite good. I mean, they're good against aggro attacks, which you still see a bit of. And I don't know why like Morphing Jar upset they had set Faith, but I guess he's playing 3 Faith, so he had to banish all 3 of his own. So that's kind of interesting. Um, but yeah, I was gonna say that the Gravekeeper package is seeing a bit of resurgence, which is why I actually like to play Chaos Sorcerer now, because Chaos Sorcerer is one of the best ways to deal with multiple spies or spy plus guard. Like a Thousand Eyes Restrict won't deal with it here, right? Because you can Thousand Eyes Restrict and take the spy, but then your opponent still has the guard. But with Chaos Sorcerer, you can banish one, next turn banish the other, which is something that I kind of like. Um, and of course, a lot of people are playing Chaos Sorcerer as well, but I think a lot of people don't realize how good it is at dealing with like spy and guard specifically. That's one of the reasons that I like it. A lot of people are just playing Sort because LOL, it's a +1. But it's more than just that. It's very good at dealing with some of the defensive options in the format, like spy and guard. All right, so he summoned Tribe, discarded Sinister, called Spellcaster, and then his opponent torrentialed. That's kind of interesting. Keep in mind that had he not used torrential, the Tribe actually would have killed his own breaker too. So the torrential essentially killed uh Tribe and Sangan. I'm not sure if his opponent realized that it would have killed his own breaker too, because that might have not been the best time to torrential. I mean, of course, I don't know what these guys have in their hands, so I don't know for sure. Um, but theoretically speaking, it might have not been the optimal time to torrential there, possibly. I'm not sure what he got with Sangan. Oh, he got Tsukiyomi with Sangan. That's what happened. Because obviously all the faiths are gone, the Sinister's already gone. So, Tsukiyomi is probably, the best Sangan target here. And yeah, he's gonna call back Sangan. I mean, that's pretty good. Force that 1,000 damage. His opponent's probably not gonna activate Scapegoat now. He might. I mean, I guess it depends.
Alright, I'm back. So,
Hey, so I mean, this looks like a pretty even game here. I mean, I still think Soul is like kind of slightly ahead. Um, so
people banish their faiths, right?
yeah, I mean, Morphing Jar is playing 3 Faith.
Wait, what?
Yeah, which I mean, I don't really like too much. I mean, it kind of like makes you have to like play your faiths in like weird ways because you don't want to like get them all banished. Like it was actually like kind of a good crossout for Soul because Morphing Jar crossouts Soul's faith. Soul has to remove one more faith from his deck because he's only playing 2. But then Morphing Jar has to banish all 3 from his deck.
Where life points at? It looks like, you know what? Deck out could be a pretty realistic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in Exarian Goats particularly, like deck out becomes a lot more like of a real win condition because like you're not playing those Xarians to force damage through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean right now Morphing Jar does have more cards in deck, and he still has 6,000 life points. I don't even think anyone's used a scapegoat yet, frankly. Um, but right now this Sangan is going to be pushing for damage. It already got in 1,000, probably going to get in another 1,000. Um, keep in mind, no one's used. I don't think anyone's used Ring yet, and Morphing Jar hasn't used his duo either. So if Soul attacks for 1,000 here, that'll put Morphing Jar at 5,000. If Morphing Jar at any point decides to duo, that'll put him at 4,000, and then you have Rings, which is going to do more damage. So based on the current game state, and what people have used, I don't think it's going to come to deck out. I mean, no one's used BLS either. I mean, Soul has used his Tribe, which is kind of key, and he's, used his Call of the Haunted. But I don't think he's used his Premature yet. Yeah, he hasn't used his Premature. Because he's at 66 from 1,000 from his duo and 400 from attacking into Spy. So, all it takes is, a Heavy Storm to clear out the back rows, Premature Tribe to clear out Goat tokens, and then, summon BLS to attack for game, maybe Ring for more damage or something. So, these guys both have a lot of cards in hand, so, Soul's probably trying to think about how he's going to set up game shots.
To be honest, though, right now, actually, Soul is a really big. It's pretty vulnerable right now if he doesn't have goats.
Well, I mean, right now he has 2 monsters on the field, so even if he does have goats and his opponent plays like a Heavy Storm or something, he won't be able to chain goats.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, like to me, right now, like right now, this is like a prime Heavy Storm BLS play. That's like my bread and butter in goat.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be hard to like game him. Soul's still at 66. I mean, you'd have to like Heavy Storm BLS, cross out your face down, like summon another monster, and then like Ring or something. Like, so he's using Tribe to kill Sangan, which is kind of an interesting play here. I mean, here he's definitely telegraphing like a premature call on Air Knight. And Call is actually not dead here. Hold on, let me let them know. Can you tell them that Call isn't dead?
Yeah.
Hold on. Because he Suku'd the Sangan, I think. Or wait, maybe not.
Because it got booked, right? It got Suki. Yeah.
Or no, I think that was. No, I think he called after that. I don't know. I mean, it's probably not going to matter, to be honest, whether or not he has a call in play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think Call is not dead. I mean, keep in mind, I don't have the logs here, and these guys do, so they can.
Wait, oh yeah, you know what? Watcher's chat needs a log too, but that'd be pretty nice to have.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could see the logs.
Let's see.
Yeah, he did Tsukiyomi after the call, because the Sengen died the first time when the board was torrential. He hadn't Suki'd it. Then he called Sengen, then his opponent Suku'd it. So yeah, the call is still there.
I'm reading a 6 spy right now. I don't know why.
I don't think Soul plays Spy, actually.
Yeah, he just plays I forget his name. The baldy guy. Oh, got blown out. Oh.
Yeah, unless Morphing Jar has like a Call the Haunted set, I really don't like this play from him, like at all. Like, why are you?
First of all, why did you even blow up Sangin with Tribe?
Well, that was to put Air Knight into his grave so he could premature it. But like his opponent still has like two back rows. So unless like you have something like a call set, it's just not like a very good play. Like, why are you like trying to like get so aggressive? Like, because you realize he actually literally 3-for-1'd himself, right? Because he used three cards. He used his tribe, his air knight, and his premature to trade with Soul's Mirror Force. So like it was a close game, but now that he 3-for-1'd himself, it's not very close anymore. Like Soul is just clearly ahead now, and it wasn't like the game state wasn't so desperate that he had to do that. Like, oh my god, I better premature this air knight and hope it goes through, or I'm gonna lose. Like, it wasn't like that at all. Um, like the game was still well within his reach if he didn't just 3-for-1 himself.
Ooh, it comes down.
Okay, I guess Soul does play Spy then.
You know what? I think that's a suit then, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it would be kind of weird, but yeah, I mean, he did search Tsukiyomi with Sengen, so he could have a Tsukiyomi set here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you would think he probably either has Tsukiyomi set or like a book or something.
Hasn't even flipped it yet. Wow, too. Maybe. What the hell is that? Maybe it's a. To be honest, I can't even think of anything that could be. Maybe it's a serpent? Nah, he would attack the serpent too. Because then that would have left him at ring BLS range.
No, okay, it is Tsukiyomi. And he's has 3 set spells or traps now, and I don't think his opponent has used heavy yet. I mean, one of these cards has to be goats, and what's kind of sick is that if he goats, he's not even goat locked. Or wait, no, I think Morphing Jar can only return opponent's monsters. Or sorry, Grave Guard can only return opponent's monsters. So yeah, it would be sick if you could return your own though, because then you could prevent yourself from getting goat locked.
You know what though? Like, Guard and Tsukiyomi is such an underrated play. Like, that's one of the reasons I play Spy, is because like
Yeah.
Guard, like bouncing face down, it's like so crucial like mid to late game, and then especially
Right.
Tsuki with it. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah. I mean, cause yeah, right now he has like the Guard Tsukiyomi lock. Um. So now his opponent can't just like set a monster and pass or something, and he's already used one of his crossouts. So like, he either has to use like his other crossout on the guard or whatever, or he has to like summon BLS, or he has to like use meta into Thousand Eyes to deal with it. But so like he probably has a Book of Moon. I don't think he's used any Book of Moons all game. Or yeah, I mean, or you just have to Mirror Force to guard. I mean, that's fine. Like, yeah, I mean, he's gonna book there. That I actually don't know if I would use my book there. It's probably fine. But yeah, I wonder what Soul does now. I think Soul does have a Sinister in hand, so if he wants, he can just go to his end phase and discard Sinister, or he can commit something else to the field. Because to be honest, like if I'm Soul, like I don't even care about getting duoed here. My opponent's at 3,200 life points. If he wants to lose 1,000 to duo, like I don't even care. I would probably just go to my end phase and discard Sinister. That way, I still have 4 zones to goat.
So Soul hasn't used ring, right? For sure.
Yeah, I don't think either player has used ring.
To be honest, I wouldn't even activate duo. Like, I would be scared. I wouldn't.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if you're Soul, like you don't even care if your opponent has duo, because they're just like losing 1,000. And yeah, now his opponent's gonna heavy. Like, I'm not shocked to see him heavy after this end phase goats. Okay, Soul didn't even have goats, so I guess obviously if you don't have goats set, then you do want to commit the other monster to the board.
Okay, the meta.
Yeah, I mean, the game is still within Morphing Jar's reach. Like it's tough on one hand because he's down on cards and down on life points. But depending on like what else is in his hands, like he can definitely like try to. Yeah, I mean, I guess he has the second Air Knight. Man, if this is a spy, like he just gets so blown out here.
I think it's a Sook. Yeah, it's a Sook.
Yeah, I don't even know if I like setting Tsukiyomi there. I mean, maybe Maybe Soul just has like a second Tsukiyomi in his hand, so he doesn't care about losing it.
Yeah. I wonder what Soul has in his hand though, because like he just has guard suit, and that makes me think either he has like maybe like BLS.
Well, keep in mind, Soul hasn't used Crossout yet,
Okay,
so
okay.
he can just cross out Air Knight here if he wants. I mean, or he can summon a monster with more than 1400 attack into the set Air Knight. Make his opponent use like a Saku or a Ring or a Book to protect it, and then main phase 2 cross out. Like that's pretty good. And actually, I don't know if Soul's used heavy either. I kind of forget.
Yeah, he hasn't. I don't think Morphing Jar has enough 30
Yeah,
attack.
yeah. I don't think. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, what? Why is he setting meta there?
I know. Why? You said the Saku. Where's the
Like,
Ring?
obviously, keep in mind, Soul has 7 cards in his hand and 10 cards in his deck. So Soul almost has an equal probability of having Storm in his hand versus Storm in his deck. Well, I guess actually we know one of the cards in his hand is Sinister. So it's like 6 cards in hand versus 10 in deck. So that's like a 3 to 5 chance that he has Heavy Storm in hand. Or
Mm.
3 to 5 odds rather. So yeah, I mean, I have no idea. Like, I mean, Soul is gonna love it when I say this, of course, but like, Morphic Jar has like actually just thrown away the game, like just this entire time. Like he 3-for-1'd himself for no reason. He like set an extra spell or trap to get Heavy Stormed for no reason. Like it was such an even game until like Morphic Jar just started like throwing away his cards for absolutely no reason.
It's because Morphing Jar has been practicing stocks and at Wall Street instead of playing actual goats in real
Yeah,
life.
I guess. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if like Morphic Jar is just dead here. Like if Soul has like a BLS in his hand and it just yeah, like yeah, all he needs is like literally a BLS and he would just be dead. But I guess he doesn't have BLS. Obviously this Air Knight's pretty good too. Keep in mind, I don't think Morphing Jar has used Snatch Steel yet, and Soul has used both of his Book of Moons. So like,
Unless he has MST, does he or not? What the what? Oh,
I mean, his opponent's already used Heavy. Um,
okay.
so yeah, I mean, I don't think he's used like MST or Dust Tornado yet, but he has used both his Book of Moons.
Okay.
So I mean, now's kind of the moment. Yeah, I mean, it's insane because like now if this Air Knight hit goes through, like he can still
Oh my
win. Like he can still like I actually don't even know if I would have like tributed for Air Knight there because the tribe attacks over his opponent's set Air Knight, right? And
okay.
like it kills the Air Knight. Like I feel like the only way that Soul could lose this game is by exactly what happened, right? Like yeah, like Soul playing Air Knight, he drew a card, um, and like none of his 3 back rows were able to stop it. Like
I know. Look at
no Mirror Force, no Dust Tornado, no. Yeah, I mean I guess that's about it really. Like even Ring, like you could easily just Ring there. I mean maybe he like wants to save the Ring until he draws BLS. Like that's possible. It's possible that Soul has Ring and didn't want to use it.
what is happening. Well, he at least get 1,000, so maybe he's out of potentially.
And I think we know or yeah. So now, yeah, I mean that has still has 6 cards to his opponent's 4. He's up by 1400, but like he has to deal with this Air Knight. Like he probably has like a meta or something, or maybe he has creature swap, which is why he's summoning Sinister in attack.
That's true. Yeah.
Cause like the one-off creature swap is like pretty popular tech in goats now.
I've been taking that creature swap. It's like the second snatch steal almost.
Yeah, I mean I've played it. I don't play creature swap in like my current goat deck, but I've definitely played it before. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's pretty good. Like you have to know how to use it correctly. It's like kind of hard to play because you have to like sometimes your opponent will have one back row and you have to like read it as not being goats. Jeez. So yeah, I mean like now Soul can like just absolutely lose here. Like he got his Thousand Eyes booked. He didn't have another meta. Um,
Damn. This actually looks Soul, yeah, 19. No, you can't get game this term. That's not like this BLS. Or actually, you know what? Has Soul used a torrential yet? Because that's actually a real possibility too. This looks like a second type.
Well, why didn't he just torrential off the TER then, right? Because if he had torrential, then Soul misplayed, right? Because here's what he could have done: you summon Thousand Eyes, right? Call priority, target Air Knight. Your opponent changed book, then you chain torrential to their book, right? Because since you're using your priority, this is still all in response to the summon. So if Soul had torrential and didn't use it, then I mean that's just a clear misplay.
Damn, that Aaron Knight's putting in work now. Like it's like a +2 now.
Well, right, I wouldn't have summoned the Air Knight if you can't answer Snatch, because you don't fucking care if your opponent Snatch steals your tribe infecting virus.
Oh yeah, definitely true. Yeah.
So, like, I actually think both of these people have not played this game particularly well.
No, I think most of the time, like anytime I have like a BLS or Air Knight or like something pretty powerful like that can potentially get snatched, you always gotta have like an MST, at least a book, or a judgment or something that can negate that. You know that. Even like even like for meta for a Thousand Eyes, that's so important to have in case for that you know potential play. Like it's always too risky. It's always risky to summon BLS or Air Knight because it always has the potential to be TER'd and snatched. And I guess late game they don't have the resources to, to protect.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's even I don't know. I mean, it's
a very
yeah, I honestly, given how much Soul was ahead, I just wouldn't send an Air Knight there. I mean, this is why I don't like Air Knight as much as some other people. Like a lot of people play 2 Air Knights. In most of my decks, I only play 1. Because you gotta be pretty careful about how you summon your Air Knights. Like it's not just like just a slam dunk. Like oh yeah, summon Air Knight and win. Like it can really backfire. Depending on what cards your opponent's used yet, what the game state is, etc.
Yeah, like my recent history has I've been really biased against Air Knight and more for Zaborg.
Well, I mean, I just don't think either is particularly good. Like the problem with Zaborg is it's first of all a lot of the reason that you play tribute monsters is to tribute your Thousand Eyes for something. But attributing your Thousand Eyes for Zaborg is terrible, and also the fact that Zaborg only has 1,000 defense, your opponent just kills it for free with Tsukiyomi. There's also the fact that it's just not it's fine with premature or call, but it's nothing special. You know what I mean? Prematuring as a Borg is obviously a lot worse than prematuring an Air Knight. And Zaborg is just not very good at pushing for damage. Obviously we don't have Xarian in this format, so we need something to actually trample over goat tokens, and Zaborg doesn't do that. And for some reason Soul just summons Sinister and Past. Keep in mind, I guess the deck out game now technically favors Soul, right? Because if his opponent attacks their knight, he'll draw a card and then he'll have less cards in his deck.
I'm shuffling head just because you did. Oh damn! Is it? Ooh, this is a game changer right here. Okay. Wow, Soul's top at the ring.
I don't know why Soul summoned Sinister then. Because now his opponent can main phase 2 summon BLS Banish. If he has it, obviously. Neither player has used BLS yet. I mean, now we're actually just back to an even game again. Isn't that pretty insane?
Yeah. What?
I guess this is second Air Knight. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's pretty smart. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right, because he didn't want to get his Sinister knocked, and he wanted to tribute it for Air Knight. Oh, jeez! 1,700 defense. Too bad it's not skilled white.
Why did he
I don't know, I think he wanted to like bait cross out if his opponent had it.
I guess, yeah. Not
And
gonna
like
lie.
obviously if like Soul has meta, you don't want your opponent to meta a face up skilled dark magician. You want him to meta a face down skilled dark magician. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's like the literally the only reason to summon it in attack is if you are like 90% sure your opponent has the second Air Knight in their hand. Which like maybe you can be sure, right? Cuz Soul did summon the Sinister and say go. So like it does look a little suspicious, but um
Oh my god, the deck out. Okay.
yeah, I mean no like obviously no one's going to win because of deck out here. Um like it might be a draw actually because Soul has used both of his Book of Moons and Morphing Jar still hasn't used Ring. So Um,
Ooh, okay.
I actually feel like it's going to be pretty hard for Soul to win here. I feel like,
Oh.
right, like I feel like Soul, it's either going to be a draw or Soul's going to lose because just like based on what cards they've both used.
Oh, there's the torrential. Bam.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, actually, yeah, actually now Soul is favored again because now what he can do is he can just
Sinister poke. Yeah.
right, yeah, and then like I don't know how he beats that. Like, I mean, on the one hand, I don't think Morphing Jar has used Scapegoat yet, so like of course, like we made fun of Goins using Scapegoat to block sinister hits,
Uh-huh.
but but yeah, I mean obviously it's definitely correct now to use goats to block sinister hits since he
Yeah.
only has 600 left. But yeah, I mean DD Warrior Lady works too, of course.
I'm thinking about it. Earlier in the game when Soul was setting Souk, it would have been bad to just summon Sinister and just poke. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean I don't really remember what the game state was. I don't know why he like set
Oh.
Tsukiyomi there, but yeah, Soul has missed. Okay, I guess that's it. Man, he just didn't have anything set. Like none of his two back rows could stop a DD Warrior Lady. That was an insane game one, to be honest. Like it was really back and forth. I still don't really think that. I mean, like Morphing Jar's mistakes are sort of like more dumb and blatant than Soul's, but like Soul's still like I still don't like how he just like summoned Air Knight and was just like, yeah, I'll just hope my opponent doesn't have Snatch Steal. Like he was so far ahead that he didn't need to do that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean,
Oh, you know what, Alan? I've been wanting to ask you a question since we're deciding right now.
yeah.
What is a potentially good side? Because like I have no idea how to side.
Well,
Like
I mean, you don't you don't side for the mirror, right? Like
Mhm.
unless you're playing like really just like strange things or whatever. Um, like if I was Soul and I had a Mystic level 2 in my side deck, I would consider bringing that in because our opponent's playing 3 Faith, 2 Merchant, and Spies and Guards. So that's a lot of things to kill with Mystic level 2.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's like the only thing I could really think of that either player could really bring in. Like you don't really side things for the mirror because the idea is that you should be maining to beat the mirror because that's the most like popular deck in the metagame. Uh, and what was I gonna say?
Yeah, like
Yeah. So you mostly just side against like rogue decks or whatever. Like I side against like beatdown decks, like all those various like King Tiger decks. Like I don't main Spy and Guard usually, but if I don't, I always have them in my side deck because they're so good against like the aggro decks in the format.
yeah,
So
like Zoo potentially if that's it you in the deck. Like skill drain Zoo.
yeah, like beatdown or whatever. I mean, I don't like to call it Zoo because people will get confused with Zodiac. Um,
What's Zodiac, man? I never heard of that. This is sounds
it's
nuts, man.
it's like the best deck in current format Yu-Gi-Oh. So that's why like I don't like to call it Zoo because that deck is also Zoo. So I usually like some people just call it like Beast Down because it plays beasts and it's a beatdown deck. I usually just refer to it as like King Tiger Wangu beatdown because like that's really what it is. Like it's just like the main like monster in the deck is King Tiger Wangu. Um,
Yeah.
and like you just play like a bunch of other beat sticks. Like usually you play like a warrior toolbox or something. Like like Reinforcement of the Army, Blade Knights, DD Assailants, that kind of thing.
You can call it a Wu Tangu, like Wu Tang, King Tang. No, okay.
Yeah, I mean you could, but I wouldn't. Uh, but yeah, so like aside for that, like you want to have like some stuff in your side for burn, of course, because like that is a deck that people play sometimes. Like lately, I've been liking side deck Kaikus since Chaos is so popular.
I've been side decking those recently too. I've been playing a lot against Unos and MMF, and they're like the primary Chaos guys that usually play Chaos. And Kaiku's been putting in work against those guys, definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, jeez. Look at this. Look at this turn one. Morphing Jar sets spy and passive Soul Summons Breaker. That is a beating. That is a beating.
if Morphing has a suit, this could be a blow. To be honest,
I mean, a lot of things could be a blowout. Like, even like if he gets his Breaker Snatch Stealed or something, like, it's just fucking brutal.
damn, why would you even summon?
Well, at least he duoed his opponent's suit. That's got to be good, right? And yeah, I mean, discarding Goats here definitely seems like pretty standard. Obviously, Goats doesn't really do anything when you have two spies in play.
Now, would you set something if you're a soul now because you have Breaker on field?
I mean, if I had MST or Dust, I'd definitely set that. If I had Goats, I'd definitely set that. If I had Book, I'd definitely set that. If I had Ring, I'd definitely set that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think this could easily be correct, actually. Like from Morphing, yeah, I just attack for 24 here. I think Morphing Jar is playing this fine.
No. Interesting. Okay. Oh.
I mean, yeah, like that kind of sucks, I guess, because now like you have to use something on DD Warley or just lose a spy. But I actually just don't mind hitting for 24 there. Like life points matters a lot more in Goats than people realize, and like the fact that like Soul is already down to 4,500 on his second turn. Like, that kind of sets the pace for the rest of the match. Because now, like, Morphing Jar is the one that gets to, like, try to set up game shots. And, like, you know, he just doesn't mind playing draw go for a while.
Yeah, Soul, now maybe two cards are a detriment to him from now until the end of the game. Like, Duo now is kind of bad. Ring hasn't
Yeah.
resolved.
Yeah, I mean, Soul's already used his duo.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess you just Ring, I guess. Ring and Air Knight, Trample, I guess, too.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is, like, kind of the reason that, like, some people don't like, Spy sometimes, is that, like, when you're ahead, it's hard to push for damage, or you don't want to. Because, like, Morphing Jar is never going to want to put the Spy back in attack mode for the rest of the game. Because there's no reason. Like, his guard's already gone, so he can't, like, you know, book it in response to an attack or something. Something that's kind of, that's kind of interesting. You know, it's debatable, like, whether he should have DD Warrior Lady attack the spy and banish both or ring it, and then try to hit with DD Warrior Lady. I mean, Soul is, like, clearly trying to be a bit more aggressive here. He's chaining MST. That's kind of interesting.
Okay, it's a book. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like, I don't know if I like this play from. Oh man. Yeah, like I don't know if I like this play from Soul. Like it's kind of hard to say. Like it might be good, it might be bad. Like he is up on cards, but he's way down on life. So I don't know if I'd try to like go aggro and push for damage yet. I might try to like sort of make more of an effort to like keep my life total high.
Because he simplified the game state, which is good for Soul in this case. Because
Well, I guess, but now realize that. I mean, forget the fact that his opponent is bot agreed, but like, you know, as soon as your opponent attacks, like you have to use something. You know what I mean? Like he attacks a monster, you have to use goats now, which is like, in a sense, like a virtual -1 if you don't have meta. So like, even if his opponent didn't have pot of greed, like I don't even know if this game state like necessarily favors Soul. Is kind of the problem.
Yeah. Sets one. Did he set one of the cards that he drew, or did he set one of the cards that he had?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention enough. But yeah, I mean, it's still kind of anyone's game here, but obviously, like Soul is definitely not favored because he's behind on cards and life. I mean, on the one hand, both people have used ring at least, so you don't have to worry about like getting ringed for game unless Morphing Jar plays Mask of Darkness, which almost no one plays Mask of Darkness. Um, but like the main problem is that what Morphing Jar is going to be doing is just trying to top deck monsters and attack with them. And Soul has to just block any hit that gets thrown at him. I mean, the nice thing is that for Soul is that like Morphing Jar's deck is a bit more passive. Like I said, he plays, whatever it is, 8 flip effects or something, and like his aggressive cards are like 1 DD Warrior Lady and 1 Skilled Dark Magician, I would assume.
And here comes the merchant now. Ooh.
Yeah.
Coming in hot. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, if it was Faith, like the game, Soul would just be so far behind. So like Soul is probably just glad that it's not Faith.
And I'm pretty sure Soul is not happy that this is a pre-meet.
Well, yeah, I mean, this premature is definitely, correct here to try to obviously you attack with the skill dark first, so in case he has goats, then you get to kill 2 goats. But then and then you attack with a merchant. But this is why like it's so hard for Soul to win, because like you just anytime your opponent attacks with something, you immediately have to use an answer on it. And eventually you'll run out of answers and you'll just lose. And his opponent still hasn't used any cross sets yet, so he could.
Does Morphin Jar have a potential air knight?
I mean, he could. I mean, hold on.
It's such a weird game state now. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Soul's probably dead here.
Oh, it's a fade.
Yeah. So he takes only 1,500. I guess.
Costly fade.
Does like Soul even have any good spells in his graveyard though? Like all I know that he has is like Duo. Like obviously you're not getting back that. So yeah, I mean, I hate to call it before it's over, but I think Soul has lost this game.
Hey man, you gotta believe in the heart of cards, man.
Like the only way like Soul like would have been good is if like he just had exactly what was I gonna say? Is if he had exactly spy set because he hadn't used his spy yet, and if the Air Knight attacked into a spy, then it definitely would have been winnable. But he didn't have spy, so.
No, he passes priority. This is weird. I wonder what he's thinking.
I mean, I guess he's thinking he's gonna attack and book the Air Knight.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what that was about. I don't know why he passed priority. But yeah, I guess Soul's trying to go aggro here. Like I mean, he is up on the summon, so to speak, and he does have book to protect his tribe. So I mean, maybe Soul could still win somehow. Like he has book set and some unknown card that we don't know. Oh jeez. Well, fuck.
Is he bluffing?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty rough. I mean, BLS is gonna attack. Soul's gonna have to book the BLS, and then I guess he has to hope to top deck like exactly his 1 crossout.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh man.
Yeah, I think Soul's just dead here.
Soul.
All right, game 3.
The cliche. See your top card of your deck.
Yeah.
Alright, we're going to game 3. I guess
Yeah, I mean, Morphing Jar is pretty much ahead like that entire game. Like Soul did even it out at one point,
Oh
but
damn! Here comes some super banter from Morphing Jar.
yeah, old hag.
What? What? But yeah, you know what? Man, I don't. I guess yeah, the Mystic Swordsman has to come in for sure now. Like for Soul.
Well, I don't know if he sides it. Not everyone sides Mystic Swordsman.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it, so I don't think they cite it. I don't think they both cite it, which is pretty interesting. But going to game three, your Soul. What are you thinking, man? Like you're just gonna.
I'm thinking I'm going first for game three, and I'm better than my opponent, so hopefully I win. Soul needs to draw a card for his draw phase.
Oh, I guess he's.
Hold on, someone.
Well, he might draw three. Okay.
Oh, he drew three.
He probably gonna draw three.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to like tag him in Discord.
Okay.
And yeah, that Adobe crash thing happens to me a lot on Dueling Network too, where it'll say like in between games it'll say it crashed, but then it'll say like, oh, it's working again. Like I don't know why people play on Dueling Book. Like Lackey is better. Like I know it's like sort of like a meme like lol use Lackey, but like it's true. Like Lackey's just better. I actually realized I forgot to upload my video to YouTube on how to reconnect to a duel on Lackey after you disconnect. So after this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
you know what? You know what? You know what? Blackie has been growing on me. I've been playing it more and more. I'm like,
it's
you know
good.
what?
Like it's so much faster than Dueling Book, isn't it? Like when you're playing in game,
Mm-hmm.
like especially when you're playing a deck like Zodiac that has to search like fucking 15 times in your first turn. Like it's so much faster on Dueling Book, or not on Dueling Book,
Yeah,
on Lackey.
yeah, because usually your deck revealed, and you're like, okay,
Right? Yeah, and you just keep doing whatever. Oh, now it still says he has to play me now for some reason. I don't know if I'll have time, frankly. I mean, I still haven't eaten all day, and it's like 2:30.
okay, this is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty standard play there. Knock the Sengen so your opponent can't search Sinister. And attacking the Tsukiyomi is probably correct, unless like you just really don't want to get Saku'd. Oh, and Soul's gonna book. I guess like Soul really wants to deal with this Tsukiyomi. I mean, I don't know what he has. Maybe he has like a DD Warrior Lady or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Soul has like a meta, and he just wants to get rid of it right now. So
Yeah, that's true. If like Soul has like multiple metas and like you don't want to get shit on by Tsukiyomi, then yeah, I could see that actually.
Gracefuls. Okay. Does that? Maybe he drew into the sinister. Oh, he
No,
has.
he just had it the whole time.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Now let's see. He doesn't have a dark. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. You know what though? Sending the Saku right now this early is so weird because it could be useful later in the game. It doesn't look useful right now, but like later, like maybe like 2 turns more ahead, it could be so useful. But
Jesus fucking Christ. Soul just has Duo too.
Soul is like, I'm a better duelist.
I mean, the only thing that Morphing Jar could do here is he could chain Dust Tornado and like set a spell or trap from his hand so he won't lose it. That's kind of like the pro play to like play around Duo sometimes. And it's actually it's so like brutal because he got rid of his Morphing Jar too, which is just like the only way to come back from like getting Trinitied again. Or it's like one of the only ways. It's one of the best ways to come back from getting Trinitied. I mean, Soul did have to go -1 to deal with the Tsukiyomi. Like he booked and crossed out. I mean, I don't know if I would have done that personally, but I guess like he felt it was necessary.
You know what? If I was Soul, I would have just let it go. If I was Soul, I would just let it go and just do it right there, and just have my chance with Suki. Like,
Well, maybe it's because you want to like guarantee that you get rid of all the cards. You know what I mean? Like you get rid of whatever his 2 cards in hand are. I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest, why he did it. But I mean, he probably had a reason, because like it's certainly not like the standard play. To
But now we have a set.
did Sol even add his sinister to his hand? Maybe he did. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, here comes a knock. Yeah.
What's with everyone setting Tsukiyomi? I guess like the only reason I can think of, like I like that play if you have two Tsukiyomis in your hand, and like obviously one of them is like effectively useless, so you set one to bait the knock, and then you have the second Tsukiyomi to like loop with whatever your actual flip effect is.
Yeah, that's such a weird play too. Maybe
I mean, I guess Sol wanted to tribute Tsukiyomi for Air Knight. That's like the other valid reason to set Tsukiyomi.
But why not just set the? You know what? I would just.
Yeah, why not just set the Sinister, or summon Sinister even? Just summon Sinister, attack for 3. Tribute, you know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense to me. The only reason I can think of is that like, you know, maybe he has multiple Tsukiyomis or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't know.
But now you're morphing jar. You're like just top decking.
I mean, or maybe like, you know, Sol just had a Magician of Faith and like really wants to resolve it, so like he's setting Tsukiyomi to bait cross out so he can set Faith later and then Faith get back pot agreed. I don't know.
That's a real play though. Like going first. That's such a real play. That's such
Yeah.
a mind game. Like
But
something.
yeah, I imagine Sol here like
Soul.
if Sol metas and like doesn't have a second Tsukiyomi, I would actually be angry at him for for setting it. But yeah, I guess he has Air Knight, which kind of makes more sense, like given the way that he's played so far.
Now for morphing jar, is this a Gravekeeper spy? If it's a Gravekeeper spy, I think he has a chance.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, I mean, Sol's just a master and has knock. Lol.
The
Because
guy.
of course he had meta. He could have metaed his. See, like this is why Air Knight is better than Zaborg here, right? Because if Sol has meta, he can meta his Sinister into TER. You know, Thousand Eyes, take the face down, and then tribute for Air Knight and attack. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why like we play Air Knight over Zaborg. That's like one of the reasons.
Still biased for Zaborg because Zaborg is Zabay and attack for 19. Get Saku.
Yeah, not too shocked to see that.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, and now if like Sol just like flips a set call or something, like, you know, you just get blown the fuck out. Whereas if you call Zaborg, it doesn't really do anything.
You know what? Zaborg is style. It's for swag at this point.
Yeah, Zaborg isn't very good.
Well, okay, so we're gonna make this what? Okay, now if I'm morphing, I'm hoping to draw a pot, hoping to draw a graceful, hoping to draw a merchant, hoping to draw.
I think Sol forgot to add his Sinister again, or maybe not again. I think he actually did add it the first time, but this time he actually. Well, maybe he thinks his opponent has Dust Shoot set.
Yeah. He hasn't activated yet.
Oh my God, Morphic Jar, shut the fuck up. Just play.
He's trying to bluff the dust shoot. No, it's not a dust shoot. Okay.
I mean, like Morphic Jar is trying to call like Sol bad for like, you know, breaking the set when I guess it's goats, but the thing is like Sol is ahead, right? Like by all metrics, Sol is ahead. If I'm ahead, I want to push for damage. My best way to push for damage is to summon Breaker and attack.
Ooh.
Yeah, plus now you get to like premature your Air Knight now that his back row's gone. Like Morphic Jar is like just being a fucking idiot. Yeah, like obviously this play is pretty good. Like, no, don't get me wrong, Morphic Jar can still come back and win, right? Like if he has meta and like he just metas into Thousand Eyes, takes the Air Knight, attacks over Breaker.
Yeah,
But I guarantee I would be willing to bet Sol has a set Book of Moon here. Like I would be willing to bet you money Sol has a set Book of Moon.
oh, definitely, yeah. You know what? Morphin might even have. No, he doesn't even have heavy.
Well, that's why I think Soul has set Bookamoon. He doesn't care about getting heavy because if he heavies, he just changed Bookamoon on his Air Knight. That's why I think he has Bookamoon set.
Ooh, call what? Fairy? Okay. And then he can run over the. Oh, he does. I guess he doesn't have it. Hmm. Now, you know what? Would you attack? I wouldn't even attack, to be honest.
I would attack.
You would attack?
Yes.
You know what? I need defense. I need to like. Nah.
But you realize why would you not attack? 'Cause if you don't attack, you're just giving the opponent the option to attack and trade anyways. So by not attacking, you give your opponent more options.
Oh, okay.
That's basically why. Like not attacking is just strictly the wrong play, unless like you want to like set Saku and Saku the breaker when it tries to trade with your tribe. That would be like the only reason not to attack.
Morphe, why did you do this to Jesus?
Oh, and he did bring in the Mystic level 2.
It's better not be a faith. Fuck. That hurts so much.
Well, yeah, obviously whatever it is, like, unless it's, it's probably not Sengen, right? Because if it's Sengen, Sengen would have just attacked over Sinister. So, we obviously know it's just some flip effect, or like a set skill Dark Magician. Obviously either way you want to summon Mystic there. And yeah, obviously, like, at this point, like, Morphing Jar is just so far behind. He's down, 4 cards. He's down. I guess he's not down on life points anymore since he just attacked over the Mystic. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure Morphing Jar is on tilt too, because like the way he was talking to Soul is like.
Yeah, I mean they're both like salty as fuck. So.
Oh man, it's just raining down.
Yeah, I mean I still think Soul has like set book maybe. Well, I don't know, maybe not because maybe he'll like.
I think he has go. I think that's the.
No, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd still say it's probably book. If I had to guess. So the one in the middle, just for the record, one in the middle, that Speller Trap is Book of Moon, in my opinion.
Alright. No, I think, you know what? I think one of the new sets in the book now.
No, I still think it's the middle one.
You think he wouldn't have booked after he got air knighted? Or he's like, you know what? I'm gonna save this book.
Well, no, he didn't. He could have booked the skill Dark Magician when it tried to attack over the Mystic level 2. That was it.
Oh, that's true, yeah. There you go.
So, and he didn't need to because...
Wait.
Yeah, I don't know why Soul is doing this. I think this Morphing Jar is awful. I mean, it worked out for him because he discarded his opponent's BLS.
Okay, now... Oh, Soul's getting it. Okay. Mystic Swordsman, maybe? You gonna choose it? I think he... What did you get a Mystic Swordsman? Yeah, he's gonna get
Did Soul just draw 6 off a Morphing Jar?
Yeah, he did. What a cheat.
Well, I mean, we know the card that he just drew.
I mean... Okay.
Yeah, okay, it wasn't... The card that he just drew wasn't any of the ones that he played.
GG's. Good fucking game. Soul just leaves. He's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm gonna duel you.
Yeah, I mean, both like Game 2 and Game 3 were pretty one-sided there. Like, Game 1 was, like, the most interesting game, in my opinion. That was, like, pretty good, actually. It was pretty back and forth. That was, pretty, suspenseful. But, yeah, like, Game 2 and Game 3 were both pretty one-sided.
Yeah, Soul having the Trinity. Morphing Jar just, like...
Yeah. Alright, Duelists. It was fun doing this first stream for Facebook here. I'm going to do this some more in the future. I might, like, make some of our mods... like give them access to like our Facebook so they can stream too. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do this more often because I mean it is pretty fun.
Yeah,
All right, bye everyone. Hope you enjoyed, etc.